welcome to another Mini Indie Showcase Developer Conversation. Mike here, and today I'm with Orr from Gentle Giant Games. Orr, hello, how are you?
Hi, Mike. I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good. No, well, thank you for, not thank you for coming on here, but thank you for allowing us to show off Spiritfall.
Fantastic.
Spiritfall looks so cool. I got to play the demo a little bit, probably a couple weeks ago during Next Fest. Man, it's just such a good time. It's so fun.
Thank you. It's good to you.
Well, yeah. Or tell me a bit about Gentle Giant Games. Like, tell me your development story. Like, how long have you been developing games? Kind of what drew you to making games?
Yeah. So we founded the studio around 2 years ago, but we've been making games for 10 years.
Wow.
We used to work in a mobile games studio, and we always love to make action games. And after 10 years making mobile games, we decided that we want to do something a bit different. So that's the vanilla in the story. We left our jobs and founded our studio.
Kind of the true heart of the indie spirit.
Definitely.
But funny enough, we myself and Kyle, we just talked to Johannes, who's developing Slope Crashers, who was also a part of the showcase, and he had the exact same story. He was a mobile developer, and then he decided to do his own thing and get into Slope Crasher. So it's funny to hear kind of like the similar stories between all of this year's selections. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that brings you to Spiritfall. Can you tell folks what Spiritfall is?
Yeah, so Spiritfall is 2D action roguelike inspired by platform fighters. It's a blend between games like Hades and maybe like Hollow Knight, Slay the Spire, and Smash Brothers or Brawlhalla. Yeah.
All those are just like, you just listed like 5 of the best games ever made. Yeah, I mean, those are pretty impressive inspirations to draw from. Like, what drew you to like? Now, I guess we'll get to the roguelike genre in a second, but like you just mentioned, like Hades and Slay the Spire. Like, are you just like personally like a big fan of those games? Was it something about like the mechanics of those games that really like you want to take your hand at like trying something like that?
Yeah. So when we started development in June 2021, we were planning like what would be our first game, and we were really enjoying roguelikes like Hades and platform fighters like Brawlhalla, and we thought it would be cool to create something that blends the two genres together. So we started taking the best aspects of these games that we loved and enjoyed, and try to see how we can create something new, blending those things together. Yeah.
I think you did that. It's something that drew us to Spiritfall right off the bat is that, yeah, like the Brawlhalla Smash elements really do speak from the trailer, and like right off the bat we're like, oh, this game is doing something interesting. Yeah. Like this has not been done before as far as we're aware of within games or the indie scene in general. So yeah, it's a really fascinating mashup.
Actually, it was more hack and slashy. It was more leaning towards that kind of area, and we tried to remove some of the platform fighting elements because we thought it will make the game a bit less accessible for casual players. But eventually, as we progressed, we understood that we actually need to lean more into the depth of platform fighters, and we get to understand it a bit more. When you develop a game, you really get to know the mechanics and the reasons they are there.
Sure.
So yeah, our challenge was to see what mechanics in platform fighters could fit both the single player experience and also the added layer of randomness that roguelikes have. So
yeah, and I think you're in a good spot now with like Smash Ultimate, like Smash Brothers Ultimate being like done, and like nobody really, except for Brawlhalla, I think is like probably the most successful example of a platformer fighter like finding its place within games. But I feel like now is the time to like really jump into that genre. And I do like genuinely, like, I'm not just saying this because you're part of the showcase or whatever, but like I do think it's like really fun. Like it feels great, which is what's really important for this kind of genre, is the feel of the games, the feel of the combat. And like you were saying, it is approachable. It's not too there's not many barriers to jump into Spiritfall, which is really great to feel when you start a new game. Tell me about like the decisions you go roguelite, like especially like being Gentle Giant's like first big game after like jumping from mobile development. Roguelite, it seems like, or rogue and roguelite seems like a very popular genre. So like, was it intimidating to try your hand in the rogue genre, or were you just confident in the vision that you had?
So we actually we had like a really rough idea of what the game will be when we started. So we roguelikes has the benefit as a developer that you can create a lot of depth and randomness through the systems. So when you get the systems ready, you get a good sense of what the game will be like in terms of like the roguelike aspects of it. So that really helped us. I mean, when you're doing a big narrative game, you have to make a ton of content to get replay value. And when you're doing roguelikes, you just have to fine tune the systems. It takes a lot of hard work and time, but
no, you said it. Yeah. That's it. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, I'm curious, like, obviously, like, yeah, that's the appeal on the development side. Do you think that appeal is why it's so popular with audiences as well? It's just like kind of that replayability. Like, why do you think roguelikes and roguelites are so massive nowadays?
Yeah, there is a surplus of roguelikes. I think that one of the main reasons that I saw the turning point is Hades. Actually, I think it really popularized it, and got a lot of people to make roguelikes and roguelites, and a lot of people to be introduced to the genre and understand that on the surface of it, if you haven't played any roguelikes, it looks like why would I want to replay the same levels again and again? And because they are run-based and because they are random, there's procedural elements involved, it's really like unpredictable, and it gives a lot of replayability. You never know the exact outcome of every interaction. So that makes repeated playthroughs exciting and challenging. You can play it again and again, and every run will be unique.
That's why I was that person as well. Like my first roguelike or light was Rogue Legacy back on the PlayStation Vita, and I was just bad. I was so bad at the genre. But I think, like what you were saying, it took until Hades. Yeah. Like, I think it took until Hades for it to actually click with me. And maybe it is like, Hades has obviously like that the big narrative structure to it where you keep like be able to learn more about characters, and there is like a great sense of progression in like the weapon upgrades and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. It took until Hades for it to click. And like, I'm so happy that now it did click, because now I am very much enjoying games like Spiritfall, or even Rogue Legacy 2 has been a blast this year so far.
Yeah, and those games are really difficult. So they really give you a chance to hone your skills and improve. So yeah.
I think that's the thing. It's like I'm typically not the most patient person in the world, so I think that's where like that challenge. Like it took me a second to like say like, okay, I need to take a breath. Don't worry, Meg is still there at the end of the first level. It's fine. Like, yeah, I think it tests your patience in a good way, like in a positive way. And even like it's kind of I always kind of harken roguelikes back to just kind of arcadey experiences. Like, sure, why would I want to toss a quarter into an arcade machine if I'm just going to start from scratch again? And it's kind of the same sensation. I like that rogues are kind of like carrying the torch to like old school arcade experiences that aren't super popular in the year 2023.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between roguelikes and roguelites. In roguelites, you have this progression and permanent upgrades that can give you a sense of achievement and also progression. So for me, it's really important, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I like it's you kind of find reward in progression, so it's nice. I appreciate the like, okay, you died, start from scratch, like that hardcore arcadey kind of experience. But yeah, I think progression is more modern when it comes to the like kind of core game mechanics and a little more approachable, I would say.
Yeah.
But they both have such like a fascinating benefits, obviously. Kind of touching away from the gameplay side of things, like something that's like so striking with Spiritfall, in addition to its gameplay, is its visuals. So I actually have been playing it on Steam Deck. It plays great on Steam Deck. I love it. And the colors just pop on screen. Like it very much reminds me of like a Saturday morning cartoon. What drew you towards that kind of like very distinct, vibrant art direction?
Yeah. So each of us in the team, by the way, we're a team of 5. Maybe I'll tell you a bit about the team.
Yeah, please.
So I'm the programmer, and my co-founder is the creative director and game designer and art director, and like every indie developer, he does a lot of things.
Not enough.
Not in yeah, it's just I can't list all of them. We don't have enough time, I guess. And we also have our concept artist and animator and the community manager. So they're all doing amazing work. They're all super, super talented. We're really lucky to have them. But what I want to say is that each of us has his own approach to coming up with a game concept. For me, it's more about like story and also making things fit together, making them click. Nadav, my co-founder, the creative director, is he can hold a lot of things together, all the game inspirations and also the art direction and all that. So it took us several iterations of concepts before we arrived at the story and the mechanics and the style and until it all fit together. But we always knew that we want to make something that is vibrant, stylish, colorful. There are a lot of games, a lot of roguelikes that are very grim and dark, and it usually really matches the how they play. They're usually difficult, so having and you die all the time. Death is very prominent there. So making the game cute with bright art style might convey that it is an easier game and give like a wrong impressions to some of the players that are looking for this genre. But over time, there have been many other games, roguelikes, that show that the genre can be a bit more colorful and be more accessible and less hardcore. And that really gave us the confidence that we can make this also like colorful and vibrant. And we also believe that it matches the tone of the game, because Spiritfall is somewhere between serious and playful. And also it matches with platform fighters that are usually very colorful and vibrant. So yeah, we thought it would work well together.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like that's something I did want to bring up, is that like sometimes certain games will take themselves like a little too seriously, I would say. But at the end of the day, it is a video game. It's meant to, it's like, obviously there are video games that are impactful, and I've cried plenty of times playing certain narratives in video games. But at the end of the day, like most games should be fun. And like, yeah, I think like that vibrant aesthetic and the visual language overall, like you were saying, it's very playful and it's very approachable, and it just really, as soon as you hit start on the menu, it just welcomes you in like with open arms, which is it's kind of a tricky thing to nail nowadays, and I think you guys really did nail it. Granted, I've only played the demo and I'm very excited to play the full thing, but so far it's pretty damn fantastic.
Thank you.
So my final big question for you, being so close to release, how you feeling?
Yeah. So yeah, we're launching into early access in April 3rd. It's less than
Yep.
a month away, and yeah, I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm stressed, but I'm also very excited. It's my
Yeah.
first game on Steam, so that's a huge thing for me. It was a dream for me to have a game on Steam, and I think the the fact that we're getting a lot of positive feedbacks and we have a community growing around the game is it's also scary and exciting that it's a bit bigger than I thought it would be. So yeah, I'm super excited. Trying to
Yeah.
relax as well.
Maybe I would say maybe on April 4th you can relax, but I'm sure you're gonna be panic watching a bunch of
Yeah,
streams
yeah.
and whatnot, trying to fix a bunch
we
of things.
actually have
Um,
we actually have a spreadsheet with our schedules where every day we have our tasks lined up, and
yeah.
in the week of the release, like a few days after the release, it's slotted in as like panic and mayhem. Nothing is scheduled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds like game
yeah.
development.
You have to acknowledge those things. You have to
Oh yeah,
take
you
time
gotta
for them.
embrace it. Yeah, I mean, if you see panic on the schedule, at least like you see it
Yeah,
coming. And if you wake up one morning, you feel it, you see it on the schedule. It's like, oh, okay, no, this is supposed to happen. We're on
yeah,
track.
definitely.
We're on
You
schedule.
can check the box next to the task. Yeah,
Task
yeah,
done. We love checking boxes. We're video game players. We love checking
definitely.
boxes. Or I don't want to keep you too long. I'm assuming it's pretty late over there
Yeah,
where you are compared to where I'm at. So you have plenty of work on your plate. So I'm gonna let you go. But remind us, when can people play it? Where can people play it? And how can people follow the game, follow the development, follow early access?
okay, so we're coming to Steam Early Access on April 3rd. You can follow us on our website, gentlegiantgames.com, Twitter, Facebook, your every social media that suits you. And also join our Discord server. We have a vibrant community, some very cool fan art. Yeah,
Awesome. Yes, all those links will be in the description.
awesome.
And wishlist Spiritfall.
Yeah, definitely. Very
Wishlist is
cool.
very important, please. Or thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for allowing us to include Spiritfall in the showcase. I think again, being such a vibrant take on the roguelite genre with like the mashup of genres that you were kind of describing. Yeah, it's definitely a standout in an already stellar lineup. So I appreciate you and the team greatly. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you for listening and thank you for watching the showcase. If you haven't watched the Mini Indie Showcase, go check out 61indie.com/showcase. You could take a glimpse at 33 remarkable indie games, including Spiritfall. And yeah, till next time, goodbye.